We spent a couple of nights in Broken Hill and now we're on the road again. We're going to Caravan today and then on to Burke tomorrow. Both Nat and myself were quite amazed at the similarities between Broken Hill and Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. They're both mining towns, they've both been around a long time, from the 1800s. Both towns have very wide roads, old buildings, town hall with a big clock on top, and the mine is right next to the town, a walking distance to the town. And both mines have lookouts overlooking the town and the mining areas. It's quite amazing. So what's on the menu, Nat?
Ham and cheese toast sandwiches and chicken and cheese toast sandwiches.
We're 200 k's from Wilcannia. We stopped, got the waffle iron out, toasted samos for lunch.
Quite cooked.
Yeah, I may have overdone one side, but the
other side's good.
We're about 60 k's short of Cobar, and there's been goats all the way along for the last 100 k's. Everything is green, there's lots of grass, water around, and goats everywhere. We must have seen hundreds of goats, I think. Hundreds. We're on the road again, heading towards Burke. Yesterday at Cobar, we did a bit of shopping at the IGA. Always good to get some fresh supplies. The town of Cobar is bigger than I was expecting for an outback town. Some very nice old buildings on the main intersection of town. And I'm surprised actually, the vegetation along the road here in outback New South Wales is much thicker and greener and lusher than I expected for this end of the country. We're approaching Burke and we saw a sign back there, cotton farm, and all the way along the road is cotton. I've never seen cotton in the wild before, but it looks just like a cotton ball. It's all the way along the road. Not sure if you can see it over there. Interesting, very interesting. Nat and I got a little excited when we saw cotton down the side of the road, because we haven't seen cotton fields before. But we did wonder, why is there cotton down the side of the road? Well, the mystery is solved. We saw a truck go by with big rolled bales of cotton, and as the truck travels, the cotton blows out and ends up the other side of the road. So mystery solved. We've made it to outback New South Wales. Burke.
I'm standing on a jetty or wharf in Burke. This is actually not the original, it's a replica. It was a major inland port for the transportation of various items on paddle boat steamers back in the day, and they started in about the 1850s and phased up in the 1930s when more viable modes of transport were put into effect.
The wharf has different levels to cater for the different water levels of the Darling, depending if it's in flood or not. I find it quite fascinating that the paddle boat, back in the paddle boat days, they were able to paddle boat from places like Echuca, almost to Adelaide, up the Murray, and they kept on going up the Murray, got onto the Darling, and can get almost to Brisbane. I find that fascinating.
We drove up from Burke today to North Burke, which is about 5 k's north of Burke, and we wanted to see the old bridge, which is behind me. And interestingly enough, with all the rain they've had up north lately, the river, the Darling River, is in flood and moving fairly quickly, so it's quite a sight to see.
And at the moment the Darling is in full flood. It's probably on the way down due to the rains they've had, and we're around 800 k's inland, I think.
Yeah, about 760 from Sydney.
We spent a couple of days at Burke and now we're heading north. Next town is Muckadilla. We just crossed the border from New South Wales into Queensland, and we've got a 3 or 4 days travel to get to Rockhampton, and then we will head north up the coast until we get to Airlie Beach. We're staying the night at Wyandra, Queensland, a small but very neat little town. The railway line runs through the town. It was linking Cunnamulla to Charleville. It was built in 1898 and ran until as recently as 1994. So there's a little bit of a exercise facility here, so I'll show you how you do it. This walking machine, watching that, I'll have a go, then you go. Whoa.
Oh, it's very easy.
Just takes a bit of practice.
You, sir, are a pussy. That was easy.
When we're off grid, I didn't normally put the back legs of the van down for stability, but I've started doing it recently. But I was a bit concerned that I might forget to wind them up, even though we have checklists. But there's a simple solution, and that is to put the crank handle on the seat, and then I know I won't forget to wind my back legs up.
We're staying at the back of the Muckadilla pub in Queensland. It's a quaint kind of little one pub, one servo spot. We just had a meal and it was really, really delicious, really nice. And it was good to have a hot meal because it's going to be cold tonight and we're off grid and we're expecting 3, so pray for us.
We're back in the caravan after our meal, which is very nice, and it hasn't reached 3 degrees yet. It's about 9 degrees and already it's cold, because caravans without heating are like big eskies.
Yes, it's as cold in the van as it is outside, so save our souls.
We might be going to bed shortly.